Cool. So we'll look forward to doing that. Josh, did you play anything this week at all?
Me and Colin
Anything at all?
played some. Yeah, I mean a little. Me and Colin. It was Sunday and Monday, I think, and we're gonna do it again tomorrow. But
Yeah.
this week's been so busy. We played Banjo Tooie again. Get this. I know you guys might know this, but we unlocked all the moves with the cheat. It took a really long time to make this cheat work. We unlocked all the moves right away, and the whole issue with Banjo Tooie is that it only feeds you like a handful of jiggies in each level, and then you have to progress, get the new move, go back, get the jiggies. So having all the moves makes it much more like Banjo Kazooie, where you literally just go and like it's not like the moves are hard to get. So it's not like, okay, unlocking them is such a challenge. You just have to be in the level to get them. But it's like, fuck, that makes the game so much better. Me and Colin are blowing through it. Like we already are like 80% through the game and in one stream instead of like a 13-hour run. So
Nice.
that's really fun. I mean, like who knew, right? It just has to be co-op and completely modded to have everything. And it's perfect now. It's
hilarious.
crazy how much this game has grown on us though. Me and Colin talk so much shit on it, so much. But yeah, it's our Breath of the Wild, you know.
Yeah. What's next? Ukulele?
Oh God, no. I said that. I was like, is there a way we can make that co-op? I told him if we could play it co-op. He's like, I'll think about it. I don't think it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be co-op. But I played some Narita Boy. I was just like feeling it because I haven't been gaming, so I've just been like, okay, I want to play this. It's so fucking good. Game is incredibly good. Really incredible. I can't imagine anyone who's epileptic playing this game.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a huge disclaimer in the beginning.
I don't think I've played a game that like does a better job of like getting me invested in my combat via music. Right?
It's
like
crazy.
the music when it kicks in and you're in combat, like you just like get sucked right into the game. And like it's so immersive and awesome.
The only other one I can think of that really hits like that is Cuphead, where like the boss music is just like, oh fuck, let's go, let's go. It's like so damn good. Oh yeah. It brings it in, but just something so simple, like you're saying, like the music changes. So okay, I'm gonna fight. Like think about Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. You just hear like the music like kind of fades, and you hear like something menacing, and you're like, okay, so there's a bad guy nearby, and then it like kind of gets louder as you approach. Like it's something so subtle, but like it just draws you in. So yeah, the subtlest sound and music changes really add so much.
Holy crap! I think we had Zach muted for that whole first bit.
No!
Wait, seriously?
I'm not joking.
Why?
It's fixed now. It's fixed now. But
now it's fixed. No, he had so much good shit to say.
He did have a lot of good stuff to say. And we have like us just like talking like
we're just flowing. We flowed so well. Oh my god, that's really funny. That reminds me of when I sometimes me and Colin will stream and like he will be muted on my hello screen or whatever, and I'm just like we're riffing, and he's like, "Yo, you know they can't hear me, right?" Yeah. And he's like, man, why are we doing this? I just sound like a crazy
I feel like an idiot. That's my fault too. And I know exactly why it was muted.
All right, take it from the top. Welcome to America's Top Chef, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. We're starting over. Zach, what'd you play last week? Tell us about your
yes, I will do that.
School stuff
so I
playing games with your niece.
Yeah, I didn't play much. This has been week 1 of 2 in terms of just Hell Week end of school stuff. We're done on Friday, which is probably 2 weeks earlier than we normally are, and that's fantastic. And so I went over to my sister's to sort of figure out what we're doing this summer. I know she's working from home now, so the kids are a little bit more apt to bug her for no reason. So I said, well, what if I come over and like hang out and play, board games and video games and TV and stuff, and take them for bike rides and stuff. So the kids were really into that. It's going to be really fun, and it means that I don't have to go into the comic book store quite as frequently.
Nice.
Which don't get me wrong, I love working there, but it's it's work, and I'd rather just hang out.
Yeah.
But we did just to sort of get our heads wrapped around some video games. My niece was working her way through Super Mario 3D World and Link's Awakening, and I'm very excited to help her through those games.
That's awesome. We also missed you talking about the special This Is Difficult Lawyer Edition that we're gonna have. So if you want to give like a real quick recap of that, and then we'll move on.
Sure. So my podcast partner on Adjacent Hex, which has been on hiatus for throughout the pandemic, because playing board games is difficult.
See what you did there.
Yeah, Doug is going.
It's the
Doug
name
is a
of the
lawyer.
movie.
He does copyright stuff and that sort of thing, and specifically centered around board and video games. So cool. And he has a really solid understanding of what actually does and does not constitute a quote unquote legal backup copy. So we're going to have him on the show coming up in a few weeks, ? We're not exactly sure when, to talk about that and help us sort of better understand what we can and cannot do with our cartridges and old discs and such.
Excellent. Very excited really about that.
Really fun episode.
I this week did play some video games, not a ton, but I feel like it was quality. I actually took my Tuesday night stream off, but instead ended up playing games with my wife, which is awesome. Like, she never plays video games. But we played Yoshi's Crafted World co-op together.
How is that actually?
Yeah,
it's fun. I mean, like we're not that far into it. No, I like it a lot. For a Yoshi game, I'm not a huge Yoshi game dude. Yeah. Like, that's not necessarily like the games that I gravitate towards. But they've always been fine. Like, they're definitely fun and playable. I can understand why people enjoy them. And this one, it's gorgeous. Like, as far as the graphics are concerned,
it looks beautiful,
and it looks really good. It plays well. I really like that it's co-op. So that's super fun. Just out of the box co-op. And yeah, so we're not very far, so it hasn't gotten that difficult. Like, it's actually incredibly easy I
don't think it's gonna.
Yeah, I don't imagine it's gonna get that hard, but I mean, it's definitely yeah. But it's fun. Like, it's a good show. It's a perfect game to play with my wife, who doesn't enjoy video games, because like, she doesn't have to like feel like she's getting beaten down by a game, and we can like hang out and play that together, and just So that was really fun. And then Adam and I continued our Brawler Bros series. Played some more Battletoads, which, dude, the new Battletoads game, pretty great. I do have some complaints about it. But it's the writing in it alone makes it worth it. Like, the writing is so freaking good. It's hilarious.
The voice acting is off the chain too.
Voice acting is very good. Like I said, I do have a couple complaints. I'll probably do a full review of that, though, so I'm not going to get super into that right now. But that's fun. And then also continuing my Genji 2 playthrough on Samurai Saturdays. Other than that, I didn't really play any, like, I didn't do much gaming outside of the stream. Yeah, I just had a pretty busy week myself. So, but it was fun. It's good. Yeah. Anyway,
that's awesome.
Speaking of brawlers,
let's jump into the juice.
Yeah,
I've got a really fun review that I'm actually like,
oh doggy,
pretty excited to get into. So let me switch over to that screen and we'll get started. Schladink. Okay.
Oh, I should have. Oh, I'm an idiot.
Oh, I
should have grabbed my Casey Jones mask for this.
Oh, that would have been cool. So the game I'm reviewing right now is a fan-made game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rescue Palooza. And this game is incredible. Like, it is probably, definitely the best fan-made game I've ever played in my entire life. Like, I can't think of a game that was made by fans, like a homebrew game that's better than this. It's incredible.
Looks so fucking good.
Whoops, did not mean to scroll down there. There we go. Anyway, so what this game is it's a side-scrolling brawler, like classic Super Nintendo era brawler, and 16-bit. You can play local co-op up to 4 players, which is really awesome, especially because here's what makes this game incredibly unique. Every character from like every Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game or like the classic TV show is unlockable and playable in this game. Every single one.
Like every one.
Every single one. And they all have cuts. Like unique move sets and everything. Some more simplified than others. What's that?
They all play completely differently.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, some not so much. That's some impressive. Are like pretty similar to just like your basic like Turtles move set or whatever.
Sure.
But for the most part, yeah, like everyone's got different stats. Everyone's got like different move sets, different special moves. It's really awesome.
But there's only like 3 or maybe 4 stat groups. There's like speed and attack strength and like I don't even remember what the others are. It's not that difficult to figure out. Oh, I want to play as this, and I'm gonna have this experience.
It's not
right. Yeah, you've got like speed, range, and power.
There it is.
So like, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, so it's pretty easy to pick out like what character you want, but it's also just fun to like you can literally switch between all the characters throughout your playthrough.
Wow,
you know,
that's really awesome.
So like you don't have to like
fly it or no.
Well, at the start of each level, or like when you're at the
Mario
overworld
style
screen,
like 3D world. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very much like 3D world. When you're outside the level, you can switch characters.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's really excellent. The gameplay. Let's see. Let me actually go into our format here, so I don't get lost just blabbering about the game.
Blabber away.
So this game, like I said, it's Rescue Palooza, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rescue Palooza. It was developed by Merso X Games. Again, this is like a fan-made thing, so you can't even buy it. You can, however, download it for free, and I'll put the link in the chat if you want to check this out.
It is free.
Yes.
Yeah, it is free. More accurately, they can't sell it.
Yeah, that's the real.
Yeah, that's the real deal.
Which is almost more awesome for the gaming community.
Yeah,
in fact, far more awesome, except for the devs don't get anything except praise. But
I'll be really interested the next time I run into Kevin Eastman to see how he feels about that kind of thing.
I'm wondering.
Conventions. He's the guy who created TMNT.
Oh, word. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's up here. So Turtles comes from the comic book store I used to work at in Dover, New Hampshire. Yeah.
Oh, neat.
That is where they were created, or Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And so they have Kevin and Peter have a really close tie with Jetpack Comics. And every once in a while we can get one or both of them.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Holy shit.
Very cool.
It's like childhood come true.
Yeah.
So yeah, you play this game on PC. And like that's the only place it's available because
I just realized
again it's homebrew.
He could like literally buy it. He could buy them out or he could even threaten them, I guess, but like more likely he could be like, "Hey, you guys did amazing work. I want to like buy your IP and make it an official like Ninja Turtles game." Is that possible?
I was gonna say, but if the couple times I've interacted with him, I feel like, and this is just a gut reaction, I feel like that'd be more likely.
That sounds awesome. If you
guys are getting way into the weeds here.
Sorry, I just wanted to.
Let me just stop you there, because if you were to do that, first of all, it's way more complicated than just the guy being able to do that. Whoever has like the development rights for Ninja Turtles would have to do that. Which, as you guys may know, there's a Ninja Turtles game currently in development that's going to come out later this year, I think, or maybe next year. I'm very excited about that game.
Started talking about doing a This Is Difficult versus Turtles.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So,
I'm down.
but like some dude. I mean, and not some dude, but like the creative Turtles just on a whim deciding to buy this fan made game is
likely.
It's very unlikely because it's way more complicated than just that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the corporation.
Like, I mean, we're just saying surface level, like
sure.
He could like petition it up to the top.
Like, he would just
He could be like, "Yo, you guys should pick this up. I'm giving my vote on it. These guys did some good work, and we'll give them rights and they say we produced it." Like, boom.
Anyway, what did I like about this game? It's the classic Ninja Turtles formula, only taken to 11, right? One of the things that I really like is it's got like all the same mechanics as pretty much every other Ninja Turtles brawler you've ever played, except for, you know how like in some of the games when you use your special move, it takes some of your health to use it.
That's
Instead,
really
you've got like a power meter. Like you can see underneath the health, you've got like a green bar, and that's your power meter. So like you can use your special moves as much as you want until it drains, and then it recovers over time.
The old way sounds like a way to make arcade machines like more efficient. You know, if you take more health off and you're gonna die fast, you're gonna put more quarters in. I don't know.
But that's one like just kind of quality of life thing that I thought was really cool. That they did. The sprite work is fantastic. It's damn near professional.
So much so that like if you're playing a character from Game Boy era, it feels like a Game Boy sprite.
Well, yeah, they use like they basically just rip the sprite from the Fall of the Foot Clan.
Oh, really?
Games. Yeah. There's a Game Boy. I forget which character it is. It's a villain, I believe. That's unlockable.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, I really like that about the game. What I don't like about the game, not much, honestly. Like for a fan-made game, this is like
as good as
top of the line. Like this is better than most like the GameCube era Ninja Turtles games. This is better than those. Like so much better than those. You know, honestly, this is kind of better than most of the original arcadey, you know, style games that they made, because you have the options to play as so many different characters. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit in this because we had to do some weird stuff. There we go. And this way you can actually see us playing as some different characters as well, which is very cool. But yeah, so like that's really cool. I think this game knocked it out of the park. I guess the only thing that I could say is there's some stability issues. It's only locally multiplayer, things like that. But you know, again, that's like a really small complaint to be making for a fan-made game. You know, they don't have like a AAA studio backing them. It is just like some dudes that were like, let's make the best Ninja Turtles brawler possible, and they pulled it off, which is rad. Let's see, how's the gameplay? I kind of feel like that's a repeat of what you like about the game. The gameplay is very Ninja Turtles-esque. If you've ever played a Ninja Turtles game, you're there. How is the art? Really good. Like I said, the sprite work, fantastic.
If you go on the MersoX website, they actually show a breakdown of the original sprites from TMNT 3 Manhattan Project and TMNT the arcade game, TMNT 2. They actually just drew, it looks like they just drew over the old ones to bring them into
as far as I know, they kind of ripped most of their sprites just like directly. And basically shaded over them. So yeah, the music is fine. It's basically just class, like that's I guess one thing that I could say would be a detractor is none of its original music. In fact, they could probably get in trouble for the music that they use, because they basically just rip it from older Turtles games. So sound design is fine. Like it's got that like 8-bit, you know, or like that era arcade sound to it, so it feels really good for what you're doing. Like it sounds really great. And like just kind of fits the setting, right? So really like that. I guess another complaint of the game that I would have is it's just kind of short, right? Like Ab and I beat this game in one sitting, which is kind of typical for most brawlers anyway, but by the same token, like I wanted to keep playing. I'm totally like eating in this background stuff here. Anyway, so like that I guess would be another like minor complaint, is that it just doesn't, like, I want to just keep going. I want to keep playing. Because it's awesome.
They do have 4 other games, it looks like.
Yeah, well, and Adam and I kind of did like a little bit of research after this. And they've done, well, not just them, like other similar companies have done other brawlers like from other properties, like tons There's tons of different ones. We kind of discussed some of the ones we were interested in doing. But yeah, this company's done a few. So it seems like this is their kind of specialty. It's kind of like what they're into. Kind of like how the team that does all the hacks for the 64 games that Colin and
our boys
Josh play, like they all kind of like fall into similar categories. I think this team is similar in the sense that they pretty much just do brawlers from like this classic era.
Fantastic.
So was the game difficult? No, not particularly. It's not particularly difficult, but it's fine. Like it's like the difficulty you would expect for one of these brawlers. Would I play a sequel? Absolutely. If they made another one of these or like an expansion of this with more, like I said before, my biggest complaint about this game is like I just wanted to keep playing more levels.
No, was it a complete story? Did they?
So yeah, there is a story. I didn't really pay attention to the story because we're just kind of like blowing through it. So I couldn't tell you whether or not I liked the story. Because I wasn't really paying attention. I don't think it's like a super unique story though.
Sure.
I think it's kind of like similar to Turtles in Time.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
Rennet shows up, whisk you away, do a bunch of stuff, go home.
Exactly. Yeah, like I guess if I remember, or what I do remember about it is that like the whole thing is a whole bunch of people got kidnapped and you got to go rescue them. And when you rescue them, that's how you unlock them as characters. That's why it's called Rescue Palooza, right?
Right.
So, but beyond that, I couldn't recall what the story is. So I guess if you were gonna take another point away from it, it would be that. But like honestly, I didn't pay enough attention to rightfully do that. So
and are you going to in a simple brawler like that?
Probably not. Like most, like how many times? The only reason I know the plot of Turtles in Time is because I played it like 400 freaking times.
Yeah, same with Motor City Ransom or even Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl.
Right, and the plot is never complicated. Like it's always like there's a bad guy that did a thing, go stop him. Like that's pretty
awesome,
much it. Which is
fun.
fine.
Playing a Shredder. That's
yes, you can.
That's Chrome Dome, but you can unlock Shredder and Super Shredder. Let me actually skip ahead in the gameplay quite a bit. See, like here you see us playing as Zack and the Rat King, and if I skip ahead further, we got we got Usagi Yojimbo and Shogun.
Oh boy.
This is awesome.
Let's see. Let's skip ahead some more. We got
Save those people.
I forget what this guy's name. H-Head and Muck. I don't know. He's like some weird dragon dude. Let's see. What else have we got?
So the most playable.
Here you see us actually going through like all these characters that we've unlocked. Like you've got like the Battletoads are unlockable. You got like I don't think those were the Battletoads, were they?
No,
they're not the Battletoads. They're the
dudes from.
Yeah. You're right. It's not the Battletoads.
I don't remember what they're called,
but even
they
like
function,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Even like the dude from the movie Ninja Turtles 2, what's his name? The bad guy that's not Ice? Shredder.
Oh, okay.
No.
I cannot remember,
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he's playable. Oh, it just showed him on screen. Just had him out there. Doesn't matter. Anyway, you like literally can unlock freaking everybody in this game. These are all playable characters, and you can see the different stats there: power, speed, life, and range. But yeah, I like couldn't say more about this game without just like gushing for hours. But it's really good, and like really like the best part is the variety of characters that you can play with. Like just makes it super fun.
Yeah, it's
so
incredible.
Like final score on this, it's hard for me to not give this a 10. But with a caveat, this is not this is not a or like a actual like AAA game. It's not even like couldn't even necessarily be considered like an independent game, even though it is obviously an indie game. Like it's an unofficial fan-made game. And for them to be able to pull off what they did with this is absolutely incredible, and that's why it's a 10. If this was a full, like if this game was the Ninja Turtles game that came out on Nintendo back in, the late 80s, early 90s, I would still rate it up there. This would still be probably like a 9.5. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's certainly things that you could take points off for, but because this is a fan-made game, like I can't really justify knocking it at all. Like this is a 10 for a fan-made game.
Yeah, it's insane.
This came out of their gold standard for fan-made games.
Yeah,
it really is. It really absolutely is.
I wonder if the new Ninja Turtles game is like looking at it and they're like, shit, okay, fuck, we didn't make this as good. I don't know.
I will say,
what's the new one called?
Is it a 3D open thing or is it a 2D platformer?
It's like
or
this.
Is it a it's a like
it's a brawler like this. Yeah, isn't it made by the Streets of Rage guys? I could be wrong.
A brawler. So what if it's worse than this game?
It might be.
Shredder's Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge.
Isn't so I believe it's made by the people who did Scott Pilgrim.
Huh. Is it?
Yeah, I think.
I thought it was made by the people who did
games. So yeah, that should be
sweet.
I'm pretty sure that's.
Anyway, wrapping this thing up.
Sorry.
Give us
this game's a 10. Check it out if you can. I put the link in the chat. If you wanna go download this game. It's super awesome. Kind of keep it on the down low though.
So yeah, it is the same company that made Mercenary Kings and Scott Pilgrim, and like Shredder's Revenge is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game.
Really, like what limited stuff we've seen from Shredder's Revenge, it does look a lot like there's a lot of crossover there.
I will say this: it's not going to have the roster that this game had.
That's the big thing. It doesn't have the roster. Yeah,
I would be super impressed if a like official Turtles game ever came out with a roster that was anywhere close to that. Like, that roster is freaking insane. It's perfect. Like,
Chamali's saying it's not Scott Pilgrim. I beg to differ. In the Wikipedia page, it says the game was developed by Montreal-based Tribute Games, who had experience on Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game.
My God.
Fight.
Yes. Let's have a... I mean, you know what, the Scott Pilgrim game, it's an excellent brawler, and so if they bring that pedigree to Turtles, I feel like it's going to be good. Especially really good. Like we haven't had a good Turtles game since the 16-bit era,
Correct.
So like I'll be happy for anything like that.
It's not like Metroid and Mario where it can transition as easily. I feel like
I don't think that's true. I just don't think people have done it. Yeah, I
saw something crazy. What about Dynasty Warriors Turtles?
Yeah, I'd be down for that. I mean, it kind of. So if you think about it, that kind of is the closest thing we have to like the evolution of brawlers past 2D, right? Like there's people who have tried. Like they did try to make Ninja Turtles games like in the GameCube era in that style, but in 3D, and they weren't very good. I mean, they weren't the worst in the world, but they just weren't. They didn't have the same feel.
They're like 4s. They're like real
I would give them like 5.5s. They're above 50%.
There you go. It's still failing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna correct myself a third time here. Turns out Tribute Games was founded by former Ubisoft employees who had worked on both TMNT and Scott Pilgrim.
Wins. No,
so yes, Chamali does win this round.
Damn.
That's why he's the producer.
I'll get you next time.
That's why he's the producer. Anyway, regardless, it's gonna be rad. I'm excited about it. But you might be right. It might not hold up to Rescue Palooza. But I do think that the only reason that 3D brawlers failed is because they were premature. I think you could do it now, and you could do it well. I think people are kind of afraid to, which is why we see stuff like Streets of Rage 4, which is an awesome game, but it didn't take a lot of risks, honestly.
Right.
It took very few risks. So, like, you know, and I don't know if anyone's going to do it. You know, I don't know if there's people out there asking for that kind of stuff, if it's marketable right now, but you would love to see it, but I just don't know if it will. But yeah, I would say like the two games that get closest to it would be like the Dynasty Warriors games, even though vastly different. And then on like a different side of the spectrum, you have like the Yakuza games, you know. But both of those are like so very much different from just like that old school arcadey brawler style, you know. We have a topic this week, boys.
Excellent.
Yes, we have a good. I mean, here's the thing: like, E3's next week.
This is real, guys.
Now
it's no longer a warning.
Right. Like, and so last year we didn't even have an E3. We didn't even have a digital E3.
This is what we all dreamed about doing when we were kids, is going to this.
Sure.
And that's back.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go to E3.
Until we didn't.
I mean, I still wanted to go. I still want to go. I still want to go.
But I feel like it's going the way of San Diego Comic-Con, where it's just a media circus at this point.
I agree. I think E3 is dying a slow death, but I still want to go before I die.
Yeah. Well, when people like Nintendo and now like Sony and other people are having independent tree houses and what have you, it's like it's more and more difficult for E3 to maintain integrity. Nintendo could just be like, here's this video. How much more excited, honestly? Like, it's the same level of excitement every time a treehouse comes out as it is for like E3, which is just once and it's premeditated. Like, you get a surprise showing and it's like, oh my God, that builds so much more excitement and hype. So I don't know, you know, like Nintendo and them, like they're kind of doing it on their own.
Yeah. So, so E3's all digital this year, right? And so,
what the fuck?
Yeah,
I don't care now.
Damn it. Right. Like, why not do your stuff independent?
Like,
Blink in the chat is asking, what is E3? E3 is like
Electronic Entertainment Expo.
There you go. Electronic Entertainment Expo. And it's like, has been traditionally like the video game conference every year, right? Like that's where like, especially in yesteryear, was like where all the big announcements for games were. Now, like Josh was saying a minute ago, that's not really the case anymore. Most things are done online now. And you know, everyone was kind of like wondering, you know, E3 had kind of been dying for a few years, and then last year the Pandy hits and it gets completely canceled. Like we didn't even have a digital presence, right?
We had it. Absolutely nothing.
And all the other companies did their own thing, right? Now it was lessened than what we would have normally gotten at like an E3 type of thing, but you definitely saw people going out on their own and doing their own thing, and people realizing we don't really need this big expo, right?
Right.
So first off, before we get into predictions and stuff, like, what do you think about that? Do you think that E3, the future for E3 is all digital? Do you think it's death? How do you think that compares to like Jeff Keighley's like Summer Games Fest stuff that he's doing, which is kind of like his version of online E3?
I think that E3 can save itself by being more than one event, and that's really shitty to say. But like, how many Comic-Cons are there? You're not just like, oh, there's like 20,000 Comic-Cons. Why can't there be E3 all the time? Like,
let's look at PAX.
I was gonna say PAX is basically that.
Four PAX events a year, one of which is for board gaming. So we'll say 3 PAX events a year. When PAX showed up, PAX West, PAX Prime at the time, that's when E3 started having their balls moment. Because E3 became basically impossible to get into unless you were a media producer.
You had to be
unless
media.
You were media, you could not get into E3. So here comes Penny Arcade being like, let's put on a show for the fans. And people will do announcements here, and it'll be great. It'll basically be E3, but what it should be. So that's when E3 started having their panic moment. And then, you know, years and years go by, and they're like floundering. They're holding on. They're staying relevant by, again, pushing that digital content that I presume is what we're going to get in the next week. And then, you know, here comes the Backstreet Boys reunion tour, aka the pandemic. And what now? What do? Like everybody's panicking, not just E3. PAX hasn't happened in over a year. You know, all the big Comic Cons have been pushed, Gen Con's been pushed, and we don't know yet what post-pandemic conventions are going to look like, because you pack that many people into any space, it doesn't matter what disease happens to be going around.
Yeah,
it could be something as simple as the common cold, or what we refer to as con crud, or PAX pox.
Yeah, but, or like whatever convention plague. Yeah, like
so. Like, you ask anybody on the street, would you like to get sick? Their answer is going to be, hell no, get away from me.
Yeah.
Right.
So now conventions have to adapt and change. Now, we saw the advent of remote and digital conventions last year. Gen Con went remote to terrible results.
Yeah, it was awful.
Because I'm sorry, I don't want to play. Like, I play board games with my friends on Friday nights anyway, or any night really, like constantly. No thanks. Don't want to play. Don't want to pay money to play games that I'm already going to play for free.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. You know, Nintendo and Sony, as we've said, have done their little treehouses is a good word, Josh. I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Fireside chats. You know, historically speaking.
Nintendo Direct and really Sony. What do they call them? State of Play. And you know, and even Microsoft has got on that bandwagon. Paul, you and I have sat together in a chat room and riffed countless of those at this point, because it's fun, and it's kind of like sitting next to your buddy at a convention watching the Coalition reveal the next Gears game. So like, realistically, we are going to see a dramatic shift in what conventions look like, because now we've got this expectation of, I want that information now. Yeah.
And I don't want to pay $70 a day to be there.
I agree. So my take on that, on exactly what you're saying, is that using conventions as like, oh yeah, no problem. Using conventions as like a space to release all your information to just, you know, media, and then have them output that, I think that's dead and gone. I don't think we can go back from there.
No.
You know, the online stuff is great. I still think you can do the in-person stuff once all this, you know, craziness all clears up. I think in person, like, one of the things like the Destiny community created the like Destiny Con or Guardian Con a long time ago, and then that evolved into what's now GCX, which is some, you know, it's like a more broad spectrum gaming convention, but you know, they obviously had to shut down for the pandemic too, and a lot of the people from that community have been talking about it, that like, it's not even really like, even though they're doing the digital events and things like that, like, they want to see each other in person, right? Like, people want to, you know, be able to go and physically, you know, experience things like that. Now, do I think that, well, I guess what I'm saying is you need a hybrid model, right? Going forward.
You have to.
You know, I think E3, if they want to succeed, they should still do online digital stuff, but then also open up E3 to anyone who wants to go, you know?
And even if that's a reduced ticket price to just get immediate access, on-demand access, but like $10 on demand, you set up a streaming service. Everybody has one these days. Or you just, you know, hey, contract with Paramount Plus. I'm picking one off the top of my head.
Sure.
Back.
You know, stream our E3 productions.
Or stream it on Twitch or YouTube, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. You do something that's, you know, more dedicated.
Yeah.
And that's as
Jade, going down. Jesus Christ.
Josh's dog is distracting me here.
Drop it.
And that's just phase one of evolution. But at the same time, the best part of a convention is getting to play the games.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually an experience new thing.
Sure. You could just be like, it's convention time. Here's a demo. It's on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it seems
not
like
as fun.
so pointless. Yeah.
My favorite convention memory, bar none, is when Doug and Adam and I we're at PAX East, and they had just dropped a demo for Marvel Heroes.
Oh.
And Doug and I were all excited to play that game, and Adam overheard us talking, and the three of us went over and played the hell out of that game and didn't stop until they stopped like supporting the game, until Disney pulled the plug on it. We played it from beta all the way through. That's the only time I've ever had a game like that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, and it was because of that immensely positive experience with my two buddies playing a game for the first time together.
Yeah.
And without physical in-person conventions, you can't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think a hybrid model is the way of the future. If E3 is going to survive, that's what they have to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about predictions, guys? Like, do you have any big predictions for any of the companies for E3? Personally, I don't think we're going to see any new hardware. I think new hardware is off the table, right? We just got the PS5 and the Xbox Series S or X. You know, there's no reason for them to elaborate on that currently.
I do think they might drop a VR, like specifically for the 5.
Peripheral hardware,
peripheral. Yeah, we're gonna get some kind of VR.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, that's actually fair. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's going to happen is not going to happen at E3. If it happens, it's probably going to be that preemptive strike by Nintendo to get the Switch 2 or whatever prototype it's going to be called. Yeah. Probably is going to happen.
Let's talk about other things first, because we're going to be on that for a minute. Let's talk about.
Let's save that one.
Yeah, let's talk about other things first. Like, do you have any predictions for, like, let's say Microsoft and Bethesda, right? Microsoft just bought
Halo
Bethesda. Sure.
Yeah.
Right. So it stands to reason that future Bethesda games are going to be Microsoft exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Do we see more Starfield or like anything on Starfield, really? Like, that's their next big thing, right? And we basically only have a name and like a screenshot. So, like, do we see Starfield? Is that Microsoft exclusive? Like, what do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, like, it'll probably be, Game Pass first or Xbox Game Pass first. And then I wouldn't be surprised to see it like go to Switch or something, because we know that Microsoft does play nice with Switch.
Yeah,
we know that.
They play very nice.
That was that's kind of one of my big ticket predictions. Game Pass on the Switch. Yeah. Do I think that's gonna happen? That's no.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
But if I was gonna make like a pie in the sky guess at something right now, it would be a closer partnership with Microsoft and Nintendo, specifically including Game Pass on the Switch. Yeah.
Let me tell you how excited I would be if I could play Gears of War on the mobile.
Yeah.
On the go.
My pants.
Yeah, I would be so excited to
That'd be so cool.
Catch a bus to Boston, blast a few Horde in the face. Sign me up. Let's go.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Do I think it's gonna happen? I don't know. I don't know. I doubt it. But
not this time.
But that's my big pie in the sky thing for them. Sony, I think you guys are right. I think next gen VR is certainly a possibility.
It has to come. Like, they need to start pumping that out.
Well, they got to compete with Oculus, and Oculus is constantly pumping out new stuff.
We already know that God of War, Ragnarok or whatever, is delayed until next year, and they dropped this on us. It's gonna be for PS5 and PS4.
What?
It's not gonna be a PS5 exclusive.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay with that.
That's interesting. I think it's silly, but I understand. I understand the thought process, but I think it's kind of backwards thinking for a game company.
It's kind of telling that it might not be as like tight as we want it to be. It's not a next gen. It's just a whatever. It's just.
Well, I will say this: like, the first one looks so goddamn good and plays so flawlessly on the old hardware. Like, I'm fine with it looking and playing that way. There's not a whole ton you could do to improve that, other than maybe add in ray tracing, add in some better performance, right?
Well, I'm going to pose a counter argument here.
Okay.
And maybe I'm wrong, but is this just Sony acknowledging the shortage of PS5s?
Yeah,
that's what also. Oh, no, that's huge.
Well, it is. Basically, they're like, but here's the thing: there's more PS5s in the wild right now. There's more sold than than PS4 at this period in the launch window.
Sold by bots,
you know,
correct. Like they've all been purchased by scalpers.
I get that, but that typically game companies don't give a shit about that. You know,
correct, because they're still making money, but they can't. Yeah. The problem is, if I'm correct here, and I may be wrong, Chamali may need to fact check me on this, but I would imagine that more revenue is generated on the sale of games than it is on consoles.
You're certainly right. You're certainly right.
Yeah. Especially in the long run.
If the scalpers are holding on to these consoles, they're not selling games.
Yeah.
Which would mean that the company on some level is going to be forced to acknowledge that the consoles are not getting into the hands of the end user.
Yeah. That's a fair point. That's a very fair point.
So it stands to reason then that, and here's my prediction for Sony, they comment on it at E3.
Interesting. Sony's kind of, they're dicks though. Like, I don't know if they care enough. That's the issue here.
I don't know. We don't know.
Maybe.
They're hard to read.
Maybe they pull their britches up and they're like, all right, we're playing ball, guys.
Well, if it's hitting them in the wallet, right? Like they're putting out these consoles that they're probably selling at a loss, right? Which is really common. No Xbox console has ever been sold for profit. Like they've every single Xbox console ever sold has been sold at a loss for the company. They rely on software sales and their infrastructure, right? Selling Xbox Gold and Game Pass and things like that, right? So one would guess that that's a similar story for PlayStation, you know, and the PlayStation 5 is an incredible piece of hardware that's sold, like when you factor in inflation compared to other, you know, consoles throughout the ages, like it's sold at a very reasonable price for what's packed into it, you know? Now, if all of those are getting scooped up by scalpers and no one's buying the software, that certainly puts them in a spot, you know? So that's a really good point, Zach. You know, but
it's like, who is getting these? Who is getting the product in the end? It's like, that's the bad part. It's because
they're just hanging out in storage lockers.
You can't even pinpoint like statistics on sales anymore if this kind of shit happens. It's like, oh, we cater to these demographics and ages and blah, blah. No, it's literally like 70 30-year-olds buying 20,000 each, and that's like it. Like there's no other stats on it anymore. They've completely skewed it. Like,
and so, you know, I don't know. It's just it's what we're 2 quarters in to 2
quarters in,
2 fiscal quarters into.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, into the lifespan of the PS5.
Came out in November last year, end of November.
Right. It's pretty young.
2 quarters.
No, this would be.
Which means
this would be the third then.
Yeah, this would be the third quarter.
2 completed quarters.
Yeah.
And which would be more than enough for them to, you know, have financial evidence.
I'd like to see some stuff on this.
I wonder if you see like. And I doubt this will ever happen, but I wonder if you see these companies start to do some kind of prevention against the scalping. I don't know how they would, but I mean,
just sell in stores only for like a month, and then you know what I mean, just for like a little bit of time.
Yeah. I
don't know because it's like people are paying $800 for this shit. One of my customers literally was like, "Yeah, I got a bot going right now to buy a bunch of." I'm like, he buys like 100 at a time and then just like resells them all. PS5. And I'm like, you're in my head. I was like, you're the fucking reason no one I know has one of these. Like, piece of shit. Like, like no one I know. I'm just kidding.
That's really hurtful.
No, you're the only one. You're literally the only person I know.
Hang up.
Right? No.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. So it's wild. Anyway,
absolutely wild. Predictions on other things.
It's really hard to predict. You know, when on years where you don't see, you know, like new hardware coming.
Yeah,
it's hard to make predictions, right?
We're in the end game for 2 consoles right now. We're in the well, kind of like Xbox kind of revamped. I still don't really think of that new Xbox as even a thing, though.
No,
you know?
Because Game Pass is so prevalent. I talked with my student about this all the time. That's, you know, there's nothing. There's nothing to talk about there.
Yeah.
It's barely a next gen console.
Yeah, and there's not really
yeah.
There's like 0 exclusives like still, which is bizarre because Microsoft's constantly buying up studios. Like, why can't they get freaking exclusives?
I did see recently that the coalition, who's in charge of Gears, just moved to Unreal, the newest Unreal Engine 5 development. So
that's cool.
Sorry, Unreal Engine,
cool.
which
Unreal 5 looks amazing.
It does. They just made a statement a couple weeks ago saying that there's not going to be a new Gears for a little while. Because they're just starting development with the new engine right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely in a weird limbo right now where like, I'm going to be honest. Okay, we'll talk about the other things. It is Nintendo's game right now because they're in the home stretch on a console. They're primed, like new hardware is imminent, new all of this. They've been working on secret tech that no one fucking knows about. It's really
and Josh and I are finally starting to come to terms with it.
The last time this happened was either the beginning of the pandemic, a little bit of pop Animal Crossing and shit, and the Switch blew up. But first, when the Switch came out, it was so popular. Remember, we couldn't even buy it, right?
Yeah.
So Nintendo now has an opportunity to retake everything, and they're so good at it. Like,
the ball's in their court for real, and that brings us to the rumors that have been like they're impossible to not to know of right now.
Yeah,
and that is that there's new Switch hardware coming out this fall, right?
Yeah.
So
insane.
It's all but confirmed. We've seen like leaked listings, with like Walmart Canada and some Amazon, sites in certain
France or something
country,
like that.
Like France or Brazil or some crap like that. So these kind of leaked listings and stuff, and several other outlets like Bloomberg reporting on it.
That's crazy.
A lot of them were predicting that they were going to announce it before E3. Now, it makes sense. I mean, Nintendo has already announced that their conference is going to be about, I think, like 45 minutes worth of announcements and then about 3 hours worth of just gameplay, right? And they're focusing on software. So they're not going to make any hardware announcements at E3. Now, does that mean they're not going to have a Nintendo Direct on Tuesday this week and be like, yo, here's the new hardware, boys?
I am so excited.
Which, and I think that's a long shot still. Though I think it would be a wise decision because that would allow, developers to be able to show their games running on the new hardware. We know that the current hardware is, as awesome as it is and as fun as it is to play on the Switch, like it is very rapidly showing its age and showing its, limitations.
Which is the Nintendo cycle. It gets backpedaled against the other ones when they come out before, which has been a trend. And then we're like, okay, looking at the Wii when the PS3 is out, and we're like, okay, something different here. And then they're like, Wii U, boom. Okay, now Switch, boom. But it's all behind. So what is the move here for Nintendo, like to build themselves back up?
And I gotta be honest, I don't think it's bringing it fully up to par with the next gen consoles.
I don't think it will.
Bring it to 4K, sure, but like bringing it up to having the processing power.
Well, and I don't think they're going to, right? They're not gonna release a console with PS5 capabilities that's a handheld. That's fucking bananas, But what they could do is release a console that's much more powerful, has quicker load times, can do 4K using some kind of like DLSS technology when it's in docked mode. And these things are kind of rumored to be true, right? So, and that would definitely give them a competitive edge, like regarding their software library, to be able to take basically the power of a PlayStation 4 with you on the go.
Crazy.
That's pretty rad.
Here's the thing: Nintendo really never needs to be at that level because, like, we still play N64 and GameCube and all that shit in Super Nintendo, and we're more than happy. But you don't see us how often we go back and play like PS1 and shit, and not saying you don't.
You do if you're Paul.
I know we do, but like it's not like as relished. Like Nintendo prides itself on just being as good as it can be, and not necessarily striving to be better than everyone else. But in doing so, like create something more special. I think.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, that still doesn't like take away, or that doesn't, just because you have like the best software doesn't mean that you don't have to complement that with hardware. And I think that's where they have
Yes,
a weakness right now.
I
Because when
agree.
I get on my Switch and I load up a game and it takes forever to fucking load, I'm very frustrated, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
especially like when I could play it on my PC or on my PlayStation and it loads like that, you know, like I want to be able to play the games, you know, especially if I'm on the go. I want to be able to just be able to pick it up, play for a little bit, put it back down, not like pick it up, wait for all these fucking loading screens, and then like by the time I actually get in the game, I can only play it for 3 minutes before I have to put it down because I was
Yeah.
loading the whole time.
And
The
I got to be
sleep is
honest,
nice though.
Josh, like we've been all over
Pokemon Snap.
Snap. The load times in that were
I
horrific.
realize actually that, yeah. Actually, there's a few things about that game I would maybe notch a few points off of now that I've beaten it all, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Same.
I think it's like a 9-2, but it's still like, if
it's still really good.
If you're a completionist, it's lower, I think.
Yeah,
and if you're just casual as fuck, it's higher, but still maybe not as high as I initially said. It's in the 9s for me still. Anyway.
Oh, definitely. Sorry.
Predictions on games now?
Predictions on games? Yeah, let's hear some
Yeah.
Now Nintendo we can actually make predictions for, right?
We can make realistic guesses.
Well, part of that is because they've said we're focusing on games this year.
Yeah,
they said we're gonna blow you out of the water, bitches. Like, damn.
We also all kind of pay a little more attention to Nintendo, but like we know like the big ones for like Sony and Microsoft aren't coming this year, right? So like the things that we're, you know, we're gonna see for those things are just like cool trailers for next fucking year, and then like they'll surprise us with other games, right?
Sure,
but that we don't know anything about. Now with Nintendo, we know there's something coming with
there's been so
Zelda.
much hype.
We know there's something Zelda coming.
Yeah, several. You know? So much of this hype has been snowballing for years now. Like Metroid, Breath 2, they're so preeminent. That trailer came out almost 2 years ago.
And they also mentioned earlier this year that they're going to talk about it more this year. They're like later this summer. So what's later this summer? E3, right?
Yeah.
Like it makes sense for them to talk about it now. It's the 35th anniversary for Zelda. Like
big prediction.
Come on.
They're dropping Breath this year, I think. I think this is a very also pie in the sky idea. It's too Nintendo not to do something like this. I think we're getting a bomb this year, and I think it's gonna be Breath because it's Zelda year. But they also did do 3D World remake the next year too, after Mario year. So like this year. Yeah. So it's possible it's a later because they like March too. Nintendo is really fond of March. I've noticed November and March. True. They love these months.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if that has something to do with the fiscal year. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah. But that's like, honestly, I don't even totally believe that prediction, but I feel like if we're getting an insane bomb, it's probably that this year.
So here's what I would predict. Like if we're going with like the Zelda 35th anniversary theory, we get some kind of remasters in addition to the Skyward Sword remaster, right? That stuff all drops this year. We get some, you know, like other like Zelda paraphernalia, things like that, whatever.
Oh yeah,
cool.
Zelda shoes.
We get the
Chuck Taylors. Give me Zelda Chuck Taylors.
Oh, I was rock those so hard.
We get a Switch Pro launching this fall and or this holiday season.
Yeah.
Followed by in March of next year, February or March of next year is when Breath 2 drops.
Yeah.
That's my prediction for Zelda.
I honestly think that's more likely. For me, for Zelda, I think most of what you just said, Skyward, Breath, whatever next year, most likely, although it could be the bomb this year. Well, I think we're getting a top-down remake this year. I really want this because it happened and it can happen again.
It's reasonable.
It's reasonable. So it's not crazy, but
they've mentioned before that they're keeping the 2D and 3D Zelda teams separate, and that they're not getting rid of the 2D Zelda team. They didn't have them. They haven't. They've potentially been working on something this whole time. We know that they're not the ones who did the Link's Awakening remake.
Yeah, it was a side company. I can't remember now.
So potentially there's a 2D Zelda game in the works that's been like hush as fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
we're getting a Zelda 35 too, almost certainly in some form or fashion. That'd be rad. I wish there was more. Maybe the 35th anniversary edition. Did you say that one? I think we're getting a 35th anniversary edition with 3 random Zelda games, one of them being Ocarina of Time. Probably. But like, Man,
Yeah, it's
actually,
something akin to that.
The biggest bomb ever would be a fucking Ocarina of Time remake, but damn, I'd poop myself.
It's in the rumor mill. Like it's rumored that there's yeah. It's out there.
I think we're also gonna get Odyssey if we're talking about Mario. I think we're gonna get Odyssey 2 trailer. I don't know if we're getting, or at least the hat, like with the 2 next to it.
Do you think it's time for a Mario Kart? A new Mario Kart?
Mario Kart 9 is going to get dropped this year, actually. I almost forgot about that. I think they are pretty far on Mario Kart 9. It makes too much sense. Like, it's going to be the big one, though. We're going to get 100
I mean, there's not a unique Mario Kart for the Switch. The version we have on the Switch is a redux of the Wii U.
Correct.
Yeah.
That brings me to my next prediction, which is also another game like that, is Donkey Kong. And we were talking about.
I was just going to ask, are we going to get a Donkey Kong this year?
We're due for a Switch version of Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country 6. I'd like that title, but
sounds good.
Or something more. Yeah. Tropical Freeze didn't hit me.
Yeah, we're gonna get some bangers this year. What about Metroid? Do we see Metroid Prime 4 this year?
Some rumors.
There's a lot of good rumors.
We're not seeing
2D Metroid.
2D Metroid, I think, is highly likely this year. I think 4, dude, I hate saying this. It might not even come till 2023. Like, it's kind of like a 5% chance that it's coming this year.
I think
25% chance that it's coming. Maybe like 40-50% chance it's coming next year. But they, like Miyamoto said, a rushed game is bad forever. And whatever delayed game is eventually good. So like,
and we already know that when they switched it over to what's that other team?
Retro.
They completely rebooted it from the ground up.
Yeah, that was they should have done it in the fucking first place.
Yeah.
I don't even understand not using the original Metroid Prime team when you're making Metroid Prime reboot. But like, we're here now. And then wasn't there also like Donkey Kong Country is not like the team is no longer saying they're working on Donkey Kong. Like Retro Studios was doing that. So I'm not sure who this new team could be for them. So obviously I'd love to see Rare fucking join forces with them and bring back the old. And that would be the coolest thing ever. That's never happening. They're literally not the same people anymore. So it's so sad. Yeah. What other predictions are possible? Let's see.
The only other one that I can come up with is Mega Man.
Mega Man would be dope.
I would love to see Mega Man. God, I would love to see any Mega Man. Literally any Mega Man. I would prefer it to be in the X or Zero series. Then, you know, because we got Mega Man 11 a couple years ago, and that game's awesome, but it's so incredibly fucking hard. It's like the hardest game ever. It's so hard.
Like it makes Dark Souls look easy.
Dude, it's insane. Even like on like the easiest modes, it's incredibly hard still.
That's amazing.
It's brutal. It's a really good game though. But yeah, I want to see a new X game. I want to see a new Zero game.
Yeah.
Do I think
Zero especially there were some loose threads at the end of 04 with CL taking off and doing her thing.
Dude, how cool would a new Zero game be with like
God, I would love that.
Like better, you know, resolution and like you could still have like because the one thing like even as nice as it is playing the Zero games like on a Switch with a bigger screen or even on your TV, right? Which you weren't able to necessarily do before. And like the resolution, you know, it's Game Boy Advance resolution, right? So it's like not great. You know, but like having the same style of pixel art like in like, you know, 720p or 1080p, you know, something like that, you know, like that would look awesome and
so dope.
Yeah, it'd be incredible.
Or if you really wanted to go for broke, go with that art style, but make it the graphics of Mega Man 11.
Yeah. I have a side Mega Man prediction.
Yeah, that'd be fine too.
Mega Man prediction. Zero is going to be added to Smash Bros. I think this like has been highly requested, and it also foretells.
But he's an assist trophy.
What? But they can do that. They can undo it.
Well, what about that? So wait, time out. They got regular Zero as the assist trophy, right?
They could do,
what if they made
GBA Zero as a playable?
Poop.
Yeah, what if they did that?
I think we're also going to get Tails. Tails as a. I think because we're seeing a lot of Sonic action. I think maybe Zero. I guess not. Maybe if he's an assist. I think Tails is the most likely character to be added to Smash, and I think they like to drop. I think they like to drop. Like Sakurai loves dropping Smash Bros shit all the time, so he's probably gonna take advantage.
I give so little shits about Smash, though. I fucking hate
Smash
Brothers.
I was just about to say.
I love the videos they put out with each drop. Every time they drop it, they do like a unique art style video, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, they're cool and exciting, and a lot of people still love Smash. Just not me. I've always hated Smash. I always will hate Smash. Like, I just don't enjoy it. It's
so
hard for me to
bad.
get excited
My
about it.
6-year-old niece can beat me at Smash.
It's cool. Like the only cool thing about the game is that there's a million characters.
It's like
the combat's fucking terrible. Like
what? You're crazy, dude. No, it's not terrible. It is
compared to any other fighting game. Have you played any other fighting game? Have you played Street Fighter from the fucking 80s?
You're right.
Well, it's different.
It's a different concept. It's different. It's a Nintendo concept.
I know. It's different. It just doesn't feel good, and especially with so many characters on the screen, it like you get lost because of the chaos.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate it.
They're working on
particle
that,
effects.
The camera wise has been a little better in the Ultimate, but that's like saying that like, oh, Forza is clearly better than Mario Kart because or whatever. But like, I think Mario Kart is also like the best racing game. So I don't even fucking.
I think Mario Kart's really good. Honestly, it's really the only racing game I play.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see 100 courses. I'm not even joking. I think that's a comfortable prediction. We might see like 80 and then get 20 in DLC. We're gonna see the biggest Mario Kart game ever. It literally could just be
that's your prediction then for Mario Kart.
I think it might be like the biggest absolutely ever. 1000%.
What if they did
every character ever fucking made in Nintendo?
That's what I was gonna say. What if they did the same thing they do with Smash roster and did that in Mario Kart? That'd be rad. I think
Villager, everyone is now in Mario Kart. Like, dude, like not even just Mario characters, like Link is fucking in it and like a bunch of other random shit. I think we see the biggest roster ever. I think we see the biggest like modifications. You're literally going to be able to fine tune everything on your cart perfectly in this one to have like your exact style of racing. There's probably going to be a third cart type. I think there's going to be like something like maybe Diddy Kong Racing did the hovercraft of the plane. We could see something totally different. It's going to be the best ever fucking made. And I think they're going to shy away from the zero gravity thing a little bit too, because it needs to go back to the old, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, Mario Golf is coming out this month.
Mario Golf, I'm going to get.
You know what else is coming out?
This is a Pokemon Snap situation. I'm just going to get it. I'm not even going to pretend I'm not going to get it.
No, Mario Golf, the new Mario Golf looks fun as fuck, honestly. It's the speed golf, right? Which is ripped off from like a 1990s Sinbad movie.
Really?
Which I'm super fine with. Yes, it's called House Guest. Go watch it. It's hilarious.
That's so funny.
It's got him and what's the comedian? What's his name? That like his wife killed him back in the day.
What the fuck?
He was on Saturday Night Live. He was on.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I cannot remember his name.
Hartman. My mom told me the story. Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
His fucking wife killed him.
It's Phil Hartman. Yeah, it's Phil Hartman and Sinbad, and it's awesome. It's a really funny movie.
Okay,
but they introduced the concept of speed golf, right? Which is like you play a round of golf instead of worrying about your amount of strokes. You're trying to get to the hole first, right?
That's fucking awesome.
Gets the clock. Yeah, that's cool.
I love that.
Anyway, there's a mode in the new Mario Golf game that is speed golf, which sounds really fun.
It's being highly emphasized as well.
Yeah.
Prediction: this game's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it looks awesome. You know what else I'm really excited for that comes out this month? Or maybe it's next month. It comes out very soon. The new Ratchet and Clank game. Rift Apart.
God, yes.
Rift Apart
it's probably amazing. You're right.
It looks goddamn incredible.
They're like Banjo-Kazooie now, what they could have been. Like, fuck, they just like took
they kind of are. Yeah,
they kind of are like what you want from that. But like,
it looks like you're playing a Pixar movie. Like, they look so good.
Because I definitely slept on the last one, and everyone was like, "This game was fucking nuts." Ratchet and Clank 4, right? And then
it's awesome.
They're just gonna call it 5, I guess. But I might get it, but I hope it's not like.
Well, the last Ratchet and Clank is just called Ratchet and Clank, is a reboot of the original.
Oh, is it?
And it's incredible. It's gorgeous. It's such a fucking awesome game. Then. It's awesome. It's on PS4.
Cool.
Yeah, it's rad.
On PC? Oh,
no, it's not on PC.
I saw my PS4.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, bummer for you. Get a PS5 so that you can get them both.
If I can physically touch one in my life.
Yeah, Rift Apart just looks goddamn amazing. I'm so excited for it.
That's awesome.
I'll probably play that on stream. That'll probably be my main game for a while. So
nice.
Anything else you guys wanna?
Man, I think
we've gone over. I think we've gone over.
I think we're gonna see a big unknown. We're gonna see
we're gonna see a big question mark.
I think it's probably gonna be from Nintendo, but it could actually be from Sony. I don't think it's going to surprise us.
Josh.
You know what I'm looking forward to?
It's not going to be one of the big three.
Really? Yeah. Oh, you think it's going to be Indie Boy?
Well, yeah. So that's what I'm actually looking forward to is like awesome indie games that do shadow drops, right? Like we get a few of those every year. They're like, hey, check out this new game from Schlooby Schlop. And
I forgot one.
Guess what? It's dropping right the fuck now.
Right now. And you're
like,
right now. Go get it.
Hollow Knight 2 is not been officially announced. It's been announced, but it hasn't been dated. And I think we're gonna get that boom. Also, Katana Zero 2 possible, and fuck, I just said Child of Light. Ubisoft might do Child of Light 2. This is just like fans really want that, and so it's possible.
So the company that made Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is like the spiritual successor to the Castlevania series, they just announced that they're doing a Bloodstained Ritual of the Night 2, a sequel to Ritual of the Night. So maybe we see something from that. I mean, all we have is right now, we're doing it. There's no like trailer, screenshots, or anything. Maybe we see something. That'd be cool. I'd be excited for that.
Yeah, a big boy for sure, and it's going to be like we all need to play that, like Hades, but like more accessible for a wider audience. I don't know how to explain it, but I think we pretty much touched it all. I don't know, 3DS is dead, so there's nothing there. N64 store potential. They might increase the online. There could be. Here's what they need to do.
I got my 3DS streaming working this week, by the way. It's cool.
Dude,
I might try to do something
Nintendo
soon.
Or everyone should do like tiered online subscriptions. I don't care. I'll pay more. I'll fucking pay $30 if you add the N64 thing and make it an option for people not to get that. But like, that's possible because we haven't seen any add-ons aside from the NES and the Super Nintendo store. Not super likely, honestly. They could omit certain ones like Ocarina and Super Mario 64 just to make it like kind of more bare, and we're playing like Glover and shit. But like, I don't know. Nintendo is going to annihilate this year, is all I know. They're absolutely going to have one of their best years ever. Like,
definitely in the pole position here.
Yeah, they know this too. There's no way they're falling flat like they did last year. And honestly, they did really good last year, but it did not feel like a home run year. Like, just like quantity wise, it just didn't feel like enough. But we're going to destroy this year, obliterate, I think.
Perfect. Right on, boys. Well, everyone, thanks for hanging out tonight. It's been awesome. This is Difficult Podcast. If you're watching us on the YouTubes, please share us and all that kind of fun stuff. Mostly share us. That's really what matters to us the most. But yeah, comment. We'll respond. So far, we've only got spam comments. It's a bummer. If you're watching us on Twitch,
those too. By
deleting them, yes. If you're watching us on Twitch, you're on my channel on Tuesdays and Wednesday. Well, actually, Tuesdays I stream like kind of like my main running game, right? And lately on Wednesdays we've been doing Brawler Bros with my brother Adam from Greater Than Games, and as well Comics and Coffee if you're on Twitch.
From This Is Difficult the podcast.
From This Is Difficult the podcast as well.
Founder of This Is Difficult.
Right. What?
I was co-founder. Fine, co-founder. Sorry.
Pump the brakes.
Hold on.
Yeah. So if you want to yell at me on Twitter, you can yell at me at Ryugami-sama on Twitter if you want to do that. Josh, where can we find you, man?
Lord Yeshua and Lord Yeshua TTV on all my socials. He's alive again, but I take some breaks. But we are going to be finishing Banjo-Tooie All Moves Run tomorrow, co-op. I'm pretty excited about that. It's good again. And then I don't really know what else I'm going to play. So, like, it's going to be... When does Mario Golf come out, actually? Time out. Like, now?
I don't know the release date.
All right, but I'm going to play that. So, most likely live.
That'll be awesome.
But yeah, that's
June 25th.
Yeah, I got to pick something else before that. But, that's me. Come watch me and my dog.
Nice.
Zach, boom, hit it.
I'm on Twitch at Another Letdown. My Twitter is DENONCZD. And I'm live Thursdays for video games, either whatever I happen to be working through at the moment, which is currently the Batman Arkham Asylum series, or the Gears of War co-op stuff that I do with my friend Alex. We're working our way through Gears Tactics. We are some percentage of complete at this point, probably not very far, but we're having a grand old time. And then Friday nights we do tabletop simulator board games. We've got Mansions of Madness continuing this week. Very, very fun. Now that I've got 3 monitors, I can adequately like manage it, which is great.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Saturdays, our dear friend Adam returns to my channel, where he and our friend Mike and I paint miniatures.
And he's like a full-time streamer at this point.
I know, but just like not on his channel.
With the amount of channels that auxiliary channels he's using. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's the This Is Difficult extended family of network. Extended network of shows. There we go.
Me and Colin have talked when he was streaming. We have talked about making a conglomerate actually with like all of our auxiliary people and like
that
all that
was
stuff.
the original plan, for This Is Difficult podcast was like a hub for making like a streaming network.
It can still be that.
It can still be that.
Should still be
maybe we'll
I've
work
been referring
on it.
to it as the This Is Difficult podcast network.
Yeah, I like that. And
I like that a lot. Yeah.
And we'll maybe pursue. I know like one of our goals is to get a bunch of guests on. And I've kind of not really pursued that as hotly as I could, but we will. We'll get there. Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll pick some out.
All right. Well, everyone have an awesome night. Thank you once again for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Woohoo.